Hey, y'all, welcome to the news break from the Fishing Wire. I'm your host, Angie. And y'all, we've got a big show for you today. Two big product launches and some new baits that have the fishing world just buzzing. We're going to go from out on the beach wrestling sharks to a creek bank with a kid and showing you a new Jighead and a big drop from Lew's with a new reel that you can take into the salty water, no problem, but it's equally at home on the lake. First, we're heading to the beach, the actual beach, where a major manufacturer just answered a question that dedicated land-based shark anglers have been asking for years. Okuma just launched the Makaira LBS Custom Rod Series. LBS is land-based shark. Purpose-built for one of the most demanding disciplines in all of sport fishing. We've got the guys from Coastal Worldwide out on the sand to break down every detail. Then pro bass angler Brian Lattimer takes us streamside for a bait that's been making noise in all the right circles. The Chattertail is the kind of bait a dad can just hand his kid and say, just reel that, and the fish show up. Multiple species, multiple conditions, and it fishes like it was born knowing what it's doing. You're going to want to see this one and get your hands on it quick. We've also got a quick look at Daiwa's new light Jighead. And before you yawn, hear me out, because when Daiwa says they won't put their name on something unless it's genuinely best in class, they mean it. This finesse Jighead has the kind of engineering details that make light line specialists stop and look twice. And we're closing out with something that freshwater and inshore anglers have been waiting for. Lew's new custom TLX 150 Baitcast Reel. Salt, fresh, coastal, backlash-free casting courtesy of their proprietary magnetic cast control system. This reel took a full year of South Texas abuse before Lew's would call it done. That's the kind of field testing we like to hear. All that's coming up right now on the news break. Let's get after it. Here we go. If you spent any time in the land-based shark fishing world, you already know that gear doesn't get a second chance out there. The fights run long, the fish are enormous, and the beach isn't exactly gentle on your equipment. So when a major player like Okuma steps in and builds a rod series specifically for this discipline, engineered from the ground up with input from dedicated land-based shark fishing anglers, that's genuinely big news. The Makaira LBS Custom Rod Series just launched, and I've got Dylan and Blaine from Coastal Worldwide standing on the beach right now to walk you through what Okuma built and why it matters. These two know this world better than just about anybody.
All right, to put this as simply as possible, there's going to be two ratings for these shark rods. There's going to be an 8130 and a 5130. Now, in each one of these ratings, there's going to be a premium version rod and a basics version of the rod. Now, don't get it confused. The basics versions does not mean uncapable or cheaper rod that's not going to be very good. We have caught literally a great white shark on the all one-piece rod, 13-foot hammer on the all one-piece rod basics, and we're going to go ahead and break down exactly what the premium version gets you and what the basics version gets you. All right, so Blaine here has the basics rod in his hands. You have a gimbal at the end, a reel seat, a very nice foregrip with some textured woven stuff in there, and then it's going to go all the way up to your guides, all the way up to your tip, and it's going to be a ring guide tip. Now, this rod is also going to be 7'6", so the 8130 and the 5130 basics rods are going to be 7'6". On your premium sticks, like this guy right here, obviously it's going to come with a uni-butt. So on the 8130, it's going to be a number 4 uni-butt. On the 5130, it's going to be a number 2 uni-butt. You're going to have the same nice foregrip right there, same guides all the way through the rod until you get to your tip. Excuse the rods here. We've been shark fishing quite a lot here this spring. They've got a little bit of stuff on it, but there's going to be a roller tip on the premium rod. So basically, as simply as possible, your premium rods are going to have uni-butts and roller tips. They're going to be 7'9", and then your basics rods are going to be 7'6", just 3 inches shorter with a ring tip and an all one-piece build. And we have extensively gotten to fish this. This one that we have right here is the 5130. So it's the not only is it the basics rod, but it's the lighter rated rod.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, on the 50 to 130 basics rod, we have caught a 13-foot hammer, a great white shark, giant tigers on them. This thing has performed fantastic. Now, I would say this, if I were to suggest some things to you guys, go ahead and get yourself the Okuma Shark Series reels. We did get to design these reels with Okuma as well. They have a 50 wide, an 80 right here that you can see behind Blaine, an 80 wide, and there is the 130 is coming. I have confirmation at ICAST. We're going to be having a 130 Shark Series reel in our hands. So if you're going with an 80 wide and a 130, no brainer. Get yourself the 80 130 rod, whether it's the basics or the premium. That's probably going to be the best fit. If you have an 80 or a 50 wide, go with the 50 to 130. Now on the 80, you could probably, the 80 could jump to the 80 130 and the 80 could jump to the 50 130.
East Coast.
Really depends on your application, and what Blaine said nails it right on the head. How do you pick between the 50 130 rod or the 80 130 rod? And it's going to come basically down to the amount of drag you plan on using.
Now, what these guys just laid out is exactly what makes this series smart. 2 power ratings, the 5130 and the 8130, each with a basics and a premium version. Starting at $309.99, they are available now. Ask your favorite fishing retailer about them. Y'all, sometimes the bait that gets the most buzz isn't the flashiest thing in the box. It's the one that just flat out works for everybody. Pro bass angler Brian Lattimer is streamside with his little boy today, and he's been putting in time with a bait called the Chattertail from Z-Man. His description of it, the Ned rig of hard baits. Might be the best 2-sentence pitch I've heard all year. Here's Brian.
I've been working with Z-Man since 2016, so about 9 years now. I think I'm part of the family at this point. So this week we've been fishing with the Chattertail. This is a bait that is pretty unique. Since I'm a dad now, my little boy's running around here behind us. I look for baits that that are easy. Number one, you just reel it back. You can't mess it up. I would call it the Ned rig of hard baits. So it's one of those baits that's easy to fish, and you don't need a lot of special gear for it. They're really small. There's a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different sizes. It just makes sense for anything and everything to bite it. Something you can put in a kid's hand and they can fish. They can take it to go on the bank. They can take it in the boat. They can go creek fishing. You can catch walleye, trout, bass, crappie, striper, white bass. Like, I want something you can catch any kind of fish on. And so I think this is gonna be the tool for that, because as a parent with a kid, if they're catching fish, they're happy. So you need something that's easy for everybody to catch fish on. So I think it's gonna be a bait when you see what it is and kind of how we arrive here. It's gonna be special. You're gonna wanna get your hands on it.
I mean, come on. A bait that fishes easy enough for a kid but catches bass, walleye, trout, crappie, striper, and white bass? That's a tackle box go-to. And let's face it, when it comes to fishing with kids, or anybody really, if the fish are biting, everybody's happy. The Chattertail is generating serious excitement, and you can get the full story over at fishingwire.com. All right, quick one here, but worth your attention. Daiwa just launched a new light jighead, and their philosophy on this is worth knowing about. Daiwa does not enter a category unless they can meaningfully improve the angler experience, and they mean that seriously. So what did they actually do different? The head $4 to a pack, $3.99. Small price for Daiwa level thinking on a finesse staple. And they're available now. And now for our second big launch of the week, and this is a biggie. Luz just dropped the custom TLX 150 Baitcast Reel, and this one's got a story behind it that I totally appreciate. Before it ever hit store shelves, Captain Brett Sweeney spent a full year putting it through the worst the South Texas coast had to offer. Heat, salt, hard-fighting redfish, the whole thing. And it just kept showing up. That's the kind of real-world vetting that really means something. The TLX 150 is built on a rigid aluminum aluminum frame with lightweight C45 carbon side plates. You get the muscle without the bulk. Lou's ParaMag RX magnetic cast control system handles micro-precise braking adjustments. So you're looking at smoother casts and dramatically reduced backlash. Good for me. And I know some of y'all just perked up about that. Now, don't sleep on this, y'all. The machined aluminum speed gears with P2 super pinion are precision cut on Hamai CNC machines. That's the kind of spec that translate directly to retrieve, that stays smooth, cast after cast, season after season. Add in 5 anti-rust bearings, a titanium-coated 2-stage line guide for braid performance, knurled aluminum spool, and hybrid EVA cork knobs on the aluminum handle for all-day grip. Saltwater ready, freshwater ready, coastal or lake, this reel don't care, y'all. The custom TLX 150 is available at dealers now at $249.99. All the details are waiting for you at thefishingwire.com. And that's going to do it for the news break this week. Sharks on the beach, smart baits on the creek bank, a jighead that punches above its weight class, and a reel that's been battle tested on the Texas coast. Honestly, that's a pretty satisfying week in the fishing business. Now, if you want to stay on top of stories like this every single day, gear launches, industry news, tournament results, the fastest way to do that is to subscribe to our newsletter. We're bringing you the biggest stories in the fishing business every day of the week.